first question, going to start off, who knows what clickbait is? Raise your hand. Come on, we all know what clickbait is. So my kind of title for this talk, I guess, is you should give up on your dreams. That's my clickbait title for this talk. So at this point, Matt is now questioning why he invited me to come talk. But don't worry, Matt, I will redeem myself. So yeah, I normally, when you speak, you kind of talk a little bit about yourself, why people should listen to you, building some rapport. And yeah, if you asked me a year ago, maybe how I would introduce myself, I'd say, I am a bodybuilder, amateur bodybuilder, aspiring. I'm a YouTuber, I'm a student, and I'd list all these things that are kind of my accomplishments or things that I'm striving after. And that, for a long time, was a really big deal to me. And kind of growing up as a kid, I remember I'd always watch like the Olympics and seeing people like Shaun White and just famous Olympians. And I was always like, man, I want that. I want to be someone who fulfills my dreams, who does big things. And that's what I'm going to do. And so, I remember in high school, I was like, all right, once I graduate high school, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to do all these great things. And for the longest time, it was just always this kind of striving to build something of myself and to create something. And I was always just in this futuristic mindset, someday I will get to this point and then I'll be able to be happy. I'll be able to be satisfied with who I am. And yeah, I just remember I would go on family vacations with my family and I just was not in the moment at all. I would always be thinking about what can I do for this YouTube video that I'm working on to make it better? What should I be doing for my diet? And I also played soccer pretty competitively and in high school. And so I was just always I need to be on track with these things. And it kind of got to the point where I just was not enjoying life. I couldn't be happy with myself until I got to this set point. And life kind of sucked, honestly. And I remember the big thing for me was when Christmas would roll around, I would always be all right, it's the end of the year. What have I accomplished? What have I done this year? And I just remember always being disappointed with myself. I was always just not content with what I had accomplished that year. And so I'd be I'm not famous yet. I'm not, a pro athlete yet. And yeah, it just really ate at me for the longest time. So then I watched this movie. It's called It's a Wonderful Life. It's an old people black and white movie. And my parents would always make us watch old movies. And I was like, Mom, can we just watch something that's newer than 50 years old? But, we got what we got. So I watched this movie, and I'm glad they made us watch it because it's now one of my favorite movies of all time. But basically, it was about this guy named George Bailey. And he grew up in a really small town. His family was not super rich, pretty poor, but his dad owned this business that would help people to basically buy houses and, be able to afford a house. And this was kind of World War II era. And so his dream is to get out of the small town and go travel the world and go to school, go to college, all these things. And basically what ends up happening is his younger brother ends up getting drafted into World War II. And he doesn't get drafted because he has a hearing issue. So he stays and he's I'll run the family business and take care of my family. And then his dad dies, so he's okay, I'll do this for a little longer until my brother gets back. And then his brother gets back and his brother gets married actually. So he's all right, I'll do this for a few more years. And it ends up getting to the point where he's man, I'm not fulfilling these dreams that I always, set out to do. So why am I here, kind of? And at one point, there's this one guy who owns most of the businesses, and he's pretty corrupt in the town. And So George's business is kind of the only business left that's not being corrupt by this guy. And at one point, basically a bunch of money goes missing from his business, and there's a complete accident, but everyone thinks that he stole a bunch of money from this business, and so he's like facing a lot of jail time, and he's like, man, I never accomplished my dreams, and he starts to get to the point where he's like, my life is worthless. I am not worth anything to these people, and it'd be better if I wasn't here. And I was like, man, this movie is exactly what I feel like right now. And basically what ends up happening is this angel comes along, and it's such a corny, like, black and white movie, but the angel's like, hey, man, here's what life would look like if you weren't around. He basically shows him like a vision almost of like what the world would be like if he wasn't there. And there's so many ways that he affected people around him. And like he saved his brother's life when he was little, and his brother ended up saving like 200 guys' lives in the war. So like those 200 men would have died if it weren't for him. And then there was like this family that he really helped out by just allowing them to move into one of his buildings, and they ended up doing a bunch of stuff for other people. And just all these relationships that like he didn't see that he affected them, but without him, none of these people would be in the place that they were. And so the movie's called It's a Wonderful Life because he realizes at the end, he's like, man, I really do have a wonderful life, and my purpose to help other people and my God-given purpose is more important than just the dreams that I have for myself. And so I watched that movie, and it really like kind of changed my life actually. And I started to realize, man, like if I can't be content, if I can't be happy just being where I'm at right now, like kind of working the 9 to 5, being a student, what's going to change if someday my dreams do come true? And maybe I'll earn some more money, maybe I'll be able to like go on more vacations, I don't know, but I was just looking around at a lot of the people that were famous, and they were like, man, like if you're not happy now, if you're not enjoying your time now, you're not going to somehow magically find that. And so I think something that I realized throughout this process was that your dreams are important, and I think that God gives you those dreams because he wants you to have passions, and he wants you to do things that you enjoy. And so keep pursuing those dreams that you have. But on the other hand, I think that you do have a purpose, and maybe you don't know exactly what it is, but that purpose is much more fulfilling and much bigger than whatever dreams that you have. So I think they can go really nicely together, but you have to have the purpose, because otherwise there's kind of no point. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, I think purpose is something that's God-given, and ultimately everyone's purpose is to know Jesus and to know God, and then to make him known to other people. And so you can do that, anywhere. You don't have to be a famous athlete. You don't have to be, an influencer or whatever. Like, you can literally just do that at school or at your job or whatever, And I think if you kind of view life from that mindset, that even if like you're a garbage man, you can make more of an impact on the world than a pro athlete who only cares about themselves. And so, yeah, if I could leave you with two things, the first one would be just live in the moment. You're always going to be in a place where maybe some things aren't perfect, and that's never really going to change. Like, sometimes it feels like if I just get to this point, if I make this amount of money, if I have these friends, like I'll get to that point, but there's always going to be something that you feel like is not enough. So try to enjoy like every day, like wake up every day and be like, today is the day that I can fulfill my purpose, and to just think that every single day. And then the second thing is just ask God what your purpose is. I believe that, like I said, there is one overall like bigger purpose that he has, and that's making him known. But I think that obviously we all have our own gifts and our own dreams, and I think that God wants to use those and he wants to work through those. So ask him. And I believe that if you ask him and if you're seeking him, he will answer you. He'll give you things that you enjoy and that you can do every single day, that you don't have to like be in some crazy life spot to be able to do. And then lastly, if you have the opportunity, I'd say watch that movie. It's called It's a Wonderful Life, and it's a little bit of a slow burn, but it's definitely worth it. So I appreciate you guys, and I hope that you continue to, don't actually give up on your dreams. keep pursuing them, but to focus on the purpose behind those dreams and what God has for you. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. One of the things I love that Josh said, and I just hope that you guys walk away with, is that this world is better because you're in it. And I can't just emphasize that enough, that this world is better because you're in it. And I don't know where you're sitting at today, but even Josh's clickbait, I'm like, maybe some of you would be like, I'm clicking on why I should give up on my dreams, and we want to just encourage you, don't. We show up every week for you guys, and I hope that you also, by hearing what Josh has shared, by hanging out with us on Wednesdays, Jesus also is in your court, loves you guys. You guys matter. So just know we love that you're in life here. Keep going on, all right? Keep pushing through.